Hi everyone, Sarah Jane here in my studio at Heritage Art. Welcome back. This is the update for February 2025 for my Dear Jane long-term project. For those of you who haven't seen the previous videos, I'm making two versions of the Dear Jane quilt. So first up, blocks. I made 16 blocks in February, which I'm very happy about. And one little note is if you have time to sew, seize it, because you never know when your life's going to get crazy busy. And for me, the first 2 weeks of February, I did have more time to sew, but the second half of February, no time to do personal sewing for various reasons. Anyway, here are my 16 blocks for February, which I was very excited about. All in all, it was really fun. Some of them were a lot more time intensive than others. This guy here, just love it. It's just so fun, but loads of little pieces. That was definitely a few hours there, and not too much time with the seam ripper, which was awesome. So one challenge I ran into this month was with the curved piecing. Now this block here and then the one below it have curved piecing. Now I'm not afraid of curved piecing. With the, obviously you're putting two pieces of fabric together, and generally with the piece on the top, because there's bias that you're dealing with on the curve, you can just gently maneuver it around the shape on the bottom that you need to attach it to. And as long as you go slowly, I don't have a problem with that. But with this, it was paper pieced. So you've got the paper attached to the fabric and you're trying to maneuver the paper and the fabric around the curve. And honestly, it was an exercise in frustration for me. So finally I thought, this is crazy, I need a new approach. So let me show you what I did. This is a pattern that prints off the EQ software that I mentioned earlier in a video that I'm using. And so this is one quadrant of one of the blocks. So what I did was cut them out. Now you can see with this paper piecing that the dotted line is the size of piece of fabric that you need. So I cut out my fabric around the dotted lines, and then I trimmed the templates, the curve on the templates. I trimmed it down to the solid line. Now the solid line is the line you're going to sew on, so I marked that line on my actual fabric, and then I put the paper aside. So by trimming the template down, I haven't done this one yet because this is for the green block. By trimming it down and then putting that on my fabric and marking that curve with a pen, I was able to get the stitch line exactly in the right placement. And then I just sewed them together as if they were any other bits of fabric. And I did get really good results, very, very accurate. There's just no paper on the back because I only used it as a guide. It's not on the back. So yeah, so that was what I did. Now, if you're at home going, Sarah, it's not hard to paper piece curves, send me a note. Like I love to learn, and I really would like to know how to do it with paper piecing, if that's possible. I just found it was difficult, not working. So if there's tricks, I'm happy to learn them, and then I can pass them on to other viewers. A quick note too on my design wall. What I do when I'm making the blocks is I keep the name of each block, and then I just pin it on my design wall, just pin it behind the block, so that when I take them off and put them in a box for storage, then I know which block it is and where it's going to go in the quilt. Now, again, I'm not committed to putting the blocks in exactly the right spot, in exactly the same spot as the original pattern. I can, but if I don't like the layout of it, I'm just going to move them around. As long as I make all the blocks, I'm fine with that. So I wanted to show you my orange fabrics. So these are all my orange fabrics that I've collected and from my stash. They're in no particular order. I honestly just put them in, inserted them where I felt like it when I got the basket. This bit of cardboard here is just separating the blocks that I have, the fabrics that I've made a block from already, and then this half is fabrics that are going to be used. So my plan is when I use up all these fabrics, then I'll just start at this end again and work my way through, because the orange version of the Dear Jane quilt I'm making is completely random. Okay, so that's the orange. Onto the green quilt. So originally I was going to make a blue-green quilt. I love that color. I thought it would be fabulous. And then I realized I maybe I wanted a bit more pop with it when it was on the wall. So I got out my quilt diagram, my block diagram. This is what it looks like here. It's out of the book for that you get when you purchase the Dear Jane book with patterns in. And what I did was I spent ages just colouring different sections, figuring out how I wanted to divide the quilt up. And what I've done is these blue lines here, they separate the quilt into 1, 2, 3 quadrants or sections. And the top one is going to be blue-green, the middle one is going to be green, and the bottom one is going to be green-yellow. And I thought that way, visually, it could be quite appealing when you look at it, right? It's going to be like not a rainbow of colour, but just you get this gradation, which I think could look quite stunning. And then within each group, I started with the blue-green. I've divided it into light to dark. And that way, this top section is blue-green. So light to dark. So this is dark blue-green. And then this side here of the green section is going to be light to green. So what I'm hoping for is a real pop between like the light green and the dark blue-green. And you know what, when it comes to the end, if I don't like the layout, I can just move the blocks around. It's okay, as long as all the blocks are in there. So these are my blue-green fabrics that I have pulled out for that first top section. Yeah, so I've arranged them light to dark. And what I did, you can see in the pattern here, I mentioned that I've divided the blue-green section up into 3, light, medium, and dark. So these are my light blue-green fabrics. And what I did was I assigned, I wrote on a piece of paper just each block number, and then I clipped it onto the fabric that I want to use to make that block. And that just makes it so much easier, because now when I'm at the machine, I just go and take a stash of these fabrics, take off the first block number, and know that that block has been made with that fabric. And it means I don't have to lay everything out again and figure out what's next, what's going to look right. It's already done. So that's the blue-green quilt that I'm very excited about. And I'm hopeful this month that in March, that I will be able to catch up on the blocks for that quilt and make a whole lot more. So yeah, that's about it for this month. I've absolutely got the green blue quilt under control in terms of fabrics, and the orange ones going great guns. So yeah, if you have any advice on that curved paper piecing, I'd love to hear from you. If you have any other questions at all, yeah, send me a note. Love to hear from you. Love to see how your progress is going. Okay, see you soon.